So just find your photograph and listen to the story. Okay? This is called number 6, Welcome to Mississippi. Everybody got their photo out? Everybody get their photo out. Or in front of you, anyway. That is why we give them to you. Here. Okay, are you ready? Welcome to Mississippi, 1967, the 6th example of Lyndon Johnson's dismay at civil rights. There had been thunder when they last met. James Meredith and Old Miss. Fall of 1962, Meredith becomes the first black person to enter the University of Mississippi, a bold-fisted challenge to discriminatory admissions policies in American colleges. We all remember that? Meredith's challenge meets a rage of resistance, riotings, killings, so much that Meredith is under constant federal guard during his time at the university. With his graduation in 1963, the 2-year duel lapses, but Mississippi would remember. June 6, 1967, Meredith is coming home after time in Africa and New York's Columbia Law School. Home to Mississippi, on foot, walking alone and unarmed through some of the most remote and racially unsettled counties in the state. It is a 220-mile stretch from Memphis, Tennessee to Jackson, Mississippi. He is making his solitary journey to promote black voter registration and to combat fears blacks feel about living and traveling freely in Mississippi. Quote, my objective was to expose all persuasive fear that existed. You had 1 million blacks in Mississippi, 12,000 registered to vote. Now this was 2 years after Johnson had signed the voting rights bill, but still no one had registered to vote. Even though Johnson had signed a bill saying that blacks had the right to vote and all they had to do was go and sign the book, most blacks still didn't sign the book. Now it wasn't because they didn't want to, it was because they were afraid of the consequences. They didn't know what would happen. Before, when they tried to push the point, someone would come out on the courtroom lawn and shoot them. They didn't know for sure whether there would be the same consequences. The question was, had we changed or hadn't we changed? Memphis, only 12 miles from Mississippi and once a giant kingpin of the Cotton Empire, is the starting point. People are attracted to his mission. A black soldier, a Memphis businessman, a minister from New York spontaneously take up the march with him, all on the basis of an inspiring chance meeting. Meredith is a compelling figure, helmeted, carrying an ebony and ivory walking stick, a gift from an African tribal chieftain. He walks past the hopeful and the hate-filled. Occasional groups of blacks dot the roadside with quiet support and prayers, even as cars full of angry whites dog him along Highway 51, wildly swerving in his direction. It is continual intimidation. Threats of blind anger pour out. I hope to hell you die before you get there. He walks on. It is a hot, sultry afternoon. The heat shimmers above the steamy asphalt highway. Photographer Jack Thornell is covering the march for the Associated Press. Quote, we were leapfrogging with our cars, just staying a little ahead of him. From the bushes, a man's voice speaks quietly. James, James, I only want James Meredith. Meredith turns towards the voice in the bushes and gunshot ricochets along the road. The other marchers sprawl out on the highway. Quote, what alerted us was the first shot. I think it was a warning shot to scare everyone else away. I hopped out of the car and started taking pictures. Now, 2 successive blasts that shatter the stillness. Meredith falls, writhing on the asphalt. From the brush skirting Highway 51, a man is apprehended whom neighbors describe as a, quote, very nice man, as nice a neighbor as you could ask for. Meredith is rushed to the Memphis hospital. Emergency surgery will carve 60 shotgun pellets from his neck, back, and legs. For his deadly assault on James Meredith, Aubrey James Norvell will spend 18 months in jail. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., Stokely Carmichael, and other black leaders continue the march. By the time they get to Jackson, they are 18,000 strong. The march will give rise to a new phrase, Black Power. And you can see him in the bushes. You can see the man that shot James Meredith, Aubrey James Norvell, in the bushes where I circled and mirrored down. Kind of interesting, we have tickets to the National African American Museum, and the hat, the straw hat that James Meredith was wearing during this march that obviously fell off his head when he shot is in the museum. It's pretty cool to see. So that's number 5. Save you a little bit of writing. And finally, we'll go to our last incident of negativity concerning civil rights during the Johnson administration, and that's Black Power. And we'll save that for tomorrow, because I recorded another episode of Everybody Loves Raymond that you have all gotten to see. Lights, camera, action. We have just enough time, so do not leave before it goes. I think we'll have time, but this is a good one. I call this Everybody Loves Raymond. It's a little bit political, so I hope you can handle it. My wife and I were laughing. I said the kids will love this one. Is it okay? Anybody offended by watching Everybody Loves Raymond? This is a good one. I've been really wanting to show you this, so I'll cut her off today.